Hello, good morning, good afternoon, welcome. I'm very pleased to be joined by Gunnar Holen, who is the CEO of Nordic Electrofuel. So welcome, Gunnar.
Thank you so much, Nadim.
You're obviously going to be speaking at the SAF Congress, which is fast approaching us in June this year, obviously looking at sustainable aviation fuels. And clearly Nordic Electrofuel has a plan to launch I guess a SAF processing facility up there in Oslo, where you're speaking to us from today. So I read through your background. You've got a very interesting and very useful background, not less to 30 odd years in investment banking, but also entrepreneur as well, in terms of setting up your own investment banks and indeed a mining company. So an impressive track record. And clearly, I guess when we come to the subjects of finding finance for building a SAF plant and in what is a new and very nascent industry, I guess there's a risk profile that may be challenging for some financiers. So maybe could you give us a little bit of a taste of your background and also of where you are with the Electrofuel project? So yeah, over to you, Gunnar.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. I think I'm have a very interesting background. Been 30 years in investment banking. I co-founded 2 investment banks and been CEO of both of them, and also co-founded Nordic Mining, which has developed one of the biggest mining discoveries in Europe in the later years. So I have a combination of knowing how to finance companies. I've been financing a lot of companies as an investment banker, and it's very fun to do that for oneself. So I think I know what it is like to talk to investors, talk to some of the biggest investors. I did on a regular basis, and I know very much what they want to learn about the projects and how to get them comfortable. Certainly in this case, I think there's been some challenges that it's new technology, but we are very clear that we are sort of just putting together known technologies, and we're actually doing a lot to mitigate risk, and I think I'm able to get across that message. And I also have the experience of building up businesses before, so I know what it sort of takes with regards to putting together a organization and putting together you can say a roadmap to get this to be actually implemented.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. And I mean, SAF is clearly a challenging area, but one that is I guess a must-happen market. There's legislation due to arrive, giving the airlines I guess a mandate for beginning to blend SAF components into their aviation fuels. I guess part of that is, and in terms of creating a facility to produce that fuel, you'll need to get a secure offtake agreement, and then be able to get the financing aligned that way. And what are some of your thoughts around the financing, the challenge of that, but also clearly the offtake agreement I assume is critical, and what's the airline's sort of attitude so far to paying a green premium, again, which I assume is going to have to be borne upon by the airlines?
I mean, for the airlines, they for them to pay sort of more than the fossil price, they need to be mandates in place, and I think that's been a challenge for us and everybody, that this process been taking time, but it seems that this will fall in place this summer or even before, and there is definitely willingness to, ahead of this being concluded, to go into offtake agreement. We have discussed with a major European airline company for quite a long time, and we do have a draft agreement. It's not finalized and signed by yet, but I think we're very close. So we're getting there, and obviously the offtake agreement is very important for the financing, because an offtake agreement is basically the backbone of every financing. That's where you see that there will be clarity on the future cash flow, which is obviously a necessity to sort of pay down the debt and to give the return to the investors.
Yeah. And in terms of the electrofuel, and for those maybe that are watching that aren't familiar with the technology, can you give us sort of a brief overview to the fuel? So I assume you produce it with the renewable electricity, and what actually occurs?
Well, in a way, you can say that in a very simple way, you're putting electricity directly into the tank of the aircraft. We are basically making hydrogen, but then again, there's not at present a technology for aircraft to run on hydrogen. So we sort of drive the hydrogen through a syngas process, and we get a product which has very close similarities to the current fossil product, but then being purely renewable. I mean, we have a life cycle analysis showing 99.9% emission avoidance. I think also what's very important is the fact that with e-fuel, you have a completely clean combustion, so there's no particular emissions, and according to sort of scientists, those are 2 to 3 times more severe for the global warming than the CO2 itself. And then I think it's very important the fact that this product has already been approved since 2009 to a blend in up to 50%. And the fact that you can use current infrastructure without any changes is very important. I mean, any airline company buying a plane today want that to last and to use that for about 40 years.
Yeah.
And by then using our refuel, you are allowed to do that.
And in terms of the makeup of the e-fuel, you obviously combine it with some CO2, and where are you sourcing that from?
We will be sourcing the CO2 from a French producer of ferromanganese. Ferromanganese is a material you're using to strengthen and enhance steel, and thus it's unavoidable. We initially this product is fossil, but that company has planned to change to wood pellets for their process, and it will also then be biogenic in the future.
Perfect. And in terms of the development of the technology and the initial plant is scaled to what sort of size, and I assume you're looking at sort of stepping stones in terms of sort of developing the concept and developing the technology and getting everything to work together.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. I mean, we've been working a lot to find the right configuration of first plant. We will have a plant of 8,000 tons, equivalent to 10 million liters.
Mm-hmm.
For the first plant, we find that commercial, but still small. So we're lacking some scale impact on that. But we believe it's at the size where we can have a profitable plant, and also it has the necessary size that we can scale from this, and from this level go to a full scale plant, which will be 20 times as large, and be then 160,000 tons or 200 million liters.
Yeah, and that initial cost for the 10 million liter plant is roughly $100 to $200 million or million euros. What is your sort of price
Well, it's 100.
CapEx?
The pure capex is 175 million euro, and then we need some working capital as well.
Yeah.
So it's a need of close to about 200 million for that first plant. We're working on securing that. We have already signed a non-binding commitments with the equity investors for 78 million euro. We're in good progress with several leading European banks, and we made a, I think, very good application to the EU Innovation Fund for support, and we will also go or apply to other schemes for grants.
Yeah. So yeah, hoping to get that kind of debt to equity ratio then of I guess 50-50 almost.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And in terms of the power, I was also interested to see you're also potentially looking at developing your own source of power. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about that, and how much is power a part of the project, or even a part of the actual sort of cost profile for making electrofuels?
No, power is extremely important. It is our feedstock. And it needs to be renewable, otherwise it's not a point of e-fuels. And I mean, there's the people against e-fuels, they're stating that we have limited power, and thus that should be used for other purposes. However, we completely disagree to that. We see that we can make a lot more renewable power through wind power, and we have in Norway the best wind power conditions in the world. That's publicly stated by BlackRock, which has invested quite heavily into this sector in Norway. We have a subsidiary called Nordic Wind, where we will develop wind power parks. We now got a partner into that company, Fujin, which is a Swiss company, which has a really strong track record of developing wind power projects in Europe, and several plants in Sweden, which is our neighbor country. And we'll work together with them to develop several wind power parks in Norway, which can support our expansion, where we typically will go to more northern part of Norway.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Thanks a lot for that description, and really I guess covering really succinctly exactly what you're doing. As I said, you're going to be speaking at the SAF Congress this year, which is now its second year, and we're getting a huge amount of interest in the event, and indeed all of the SAF Congress sort of products. We were in MENA earlier this year, and interest is building right across the world for the whole SAF area. So we wish you success. We look forward to tracking your progress. We hope that the Congress coming in June is going to be useful for the industry at large, and help make the right connections, and help accelerate the industry and all the projects across the value chain. So Gunnar, many thanks for taking the time to chat to us today. And as I said, we look forward to meeting you at the SAF Congress.
Thank you so much for that, Nabil. Looking forward then to see you in Amsterdam.
Cheers. Take care.
Cheers. Take care.